Hello and welcome back to OmniFoot TV. This is your host Omar speaking. Today's video is about Inter Miami. Tata Martino, Sergio Busquets, Lionel Messi, maybe Jordi Alba and Luis Suarez. And the names aren't really going to end there. This MLS club, which has been languishing in the lower half of the MLS table, and mind you, the only reason they've been getting away with this is because there still is no relegation in Major League Soccer, which baffles me to no end, but let's cover that later. This club has a chance to completely shift its culture, to shift the way the MLS is perceived, to shift the understanding of the sport in the country by bringing in three proven names in a swoop unlike any other I've seen in MLS history. Not just for the whole marketing and advertising prospect, but for the mentality, for the culture, and for the further understanding of the game on a tactical and practical level. This move, or these couple of moves, and hopefully more will come, should be quite the wake-up call for the league overall. And I personally believe that the fact that they've been lucky enough not to get relegated from the league is quite an understatement. And I say that bearing in mind that there is no relegation. I still have very valid and obvious objections to that. Rejections to. I reject the concept mainly because it is devoid of drama, because the relegation scraps that we have seen in England, that we have seen everywhere else in the world, and primarily let's just put Europe on the map right now because that's where it's at. The relegation scraps that I have seen clubs go through, be it in the Premier League or the Championship, have been poetry in motion. The fighting that takes place, the battles that take place in order for clubs to make it to the Premier League from the Championship have given us some of the greatest moments in football history. Troy Deeney's goal for Watford being an obvious candidate, if not the best moment. Wrexham's promotion this past season, a brilliant cap to a wonderful story. These are our stories. This is how we tell them. This is how football moves forward. This is proof that football is consistency, that football is change, and that this culture, this key component to the culture, must be implemented in the American variation of the sport. I do believe that the MLS could genuinely benefit from these moves, obviously economically and financially, but they need to focus on grassroots football and they need to change the format. Because if you have clubs in the second division who are capable of pushing up, they should be allowed to do that. Having a playoff and challenging their fan bases to actually be present, to show up, and to suffer with their clubs, that's key to the whole. That is key to the whole sport. That is key to the culture. I've seen multiple players who have left the MLS talk about how losing isn't really a concern to them. And the most obvious example or most recent example I've read about being Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Ibrahimovic went on to talk about how they don't really take losing seriously. And how football is quite expensive for the children, but that's another topic. Look, guys, I just believe that they have the opportunity to capitalize on things that they didn't have before. Now, be that as it may, that Inter Miami's tickets were quite low, their stock went up, their ticket prices went up from the lowest to highest, and that their stadium can't necessarily handle the capacity that it's probably going to have to welcome, and the fact that the security measures around the stadium aren't so, they're not really that good because you can apparently walk onto the pitch at any moment in time. I've seen a couple of pictures of the stadium and it does look like, it's too accessible. And I like the whole, accessible thing, but not to that extent. Not nowadays. Not with these characters rolling into the stadium. You're going to get some really big names coming on, and I think this is going to give the league even more credibility. So if you want to give the league more credibility, if you want to take that momentum, do something with it, maintain it, then you need to implement more of the culture of the sport in and of itself to make it better, to make it more competitive, because the competition needs to improve. If you're going to have players like this, they are going to improve the overall competition in the league. They're going to improve the overall competitions in their team. They're going to make sure that the mentality shifts, that winning matters, and that they're not going to be languishing in 16th. If your team is in 16th place, or in the last place of the table, because I can't remember how many teams there are, you can just correct me in the comment section. If your team is ranked last in your league table, and you fire a manager, despite the fact that you don't get relegated, then what's the point? If you want to win, and you're afraid of losing, then there should be relegation. Otherwise, if your team isn't really going to go down, then all you're doing is trying to improve their spot in the league table just to make sure that you have more fans, that people pay for more tickets, that people pay for more shirts, and that the whole focus is financial. And that's not really good. Whereas I do believe that Messi's going to bring with him a sort of experience that obviously no other player in the MLS has ever had, no matter how good they ever were. And that could shift things. And that is what I think about the situation. Please let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. I welcome honest and respectful discourse. Like the video if you've enjoyed this content. Subscribe to the channel because I post daily. Hit that bell notification button to get notified when I post daily. And I will see you next time the whistle blows. Cheers, everyone. Thank you for watching.